Hello, friends. I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years, but for a long time, when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N-word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. Like that context was part of the clip we were talking about Red Fox, how Red Fox said that word on television in the 1970s and how times have changed so much since then. Or about how Richard Pryor used it as one of the titles of one of his...
All right. What you're witnessing right now is Joe Rogan over-explaining himself to the point of, like, it's quite, like, this is 4 minutes or 5 minutes of Joe Rogan literally doing the corny explanation to be like, yo, do you rap the N-word lyrics? Like, if Kendrick gets you on stage, are you going to say it? Or are you not going to say it? Like, he literally just goes through a bunch of examples of when he had said the N-word or it had popped up, and he is basically trying for the life of him combat the first ever real actual cancellation of Joseph Rogan. The reason why I say actual real cancellation is because he's been canceled a lot, but no one cared. Like for example, recently before this, like the heat was turned up a little bit because people were like, oh, Joe Rogan is spreading COVID misinformation. It's like, yo, I just got my 18th booster shot, which I did too. Shout out to my CEO. You know, I'm not trying to lose my job. I ain't talking shit. And they're like, yo, he's spreading misinformation. You know, we need to stop him. Now, I cannot confirm nor deny this because upon research of looking into what Joe Rogan said, I realized that in order to watch him, you have to go to Spotify's website and then watch it on Spotify's video player. Spotify's video player doesn't work, so we kind of got to an infinite loop where I was just refreshing the page and constantly trying to jump out my window to kill myself. So I don't know what he said, but people were upset, right? They're like, yo, cancel Joe Rogan. I slept on that. I'm like, yo, I don't really care. Now this is when you know it's serious. With a celebrity, if they have to go to Instagram and make a text post and or video post, or a Facebook, or if you're like Candace Owens, a Facebook video, it's serious. All right, they're talking to their fans, they're speaking to the people, and Joe Rogan came out here for 5 minutes and was like, "Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm trying to not get canceled." What's crazy is that I don't even know how this I don't know how this happened. The reason why I say I don't know how this happened is because like it's not like he was talking on his podcast. He's like, "Yo, Black History Month is coming up," and it's like, "Damn, I hate Black History Month," and then people are like, "You know what? Look at all these times Joe Rogan was also racist," right? I don't know who did this. Somebody out there made a compilation of Joe Rogan saying the N-word. Dude has been creating an archive for a minute. This dude has been hating on Joe Rogan, and he's like, yo, I'm ready. I'm ready to unleash the flutes on Rogan's cheeks. And, you know me, personally, I can't lie, I'm biased. I made a comment about Joe Rogan one time, jokingly saying he's the alt-right Howard Stern. I got banned from Reddit for that. I take that very personally. Every day, I pray. I say, Our Father, Lord in heaven, may the mods unban me. They don't. I don't know what it is. Maybe I need to do more confessions, but it ain't working out. But Joe Rogan basically got caught out there saying the N-word, right? And, if you're in America, especially in the past, since 2007, the N-word has basically been career suicide to a degree. The reason why I say to a degree is because if you don't know, I made an entire 45-minute video, which, listen, all I'm going to say as an advertisement for this is that there's a point in time in this video where I go over Vince McMahon saying the N-word, like he literally goes up to Booker T. Washington, says the N-word, and then walks away. Listen, if that doesn't interest you, I don't know what else to say. But it basically looks into how the N-word started and where the N-word is. Now, if you don't know, a lot of people think that black people can just say the N-word and they were just born with this innate right. But I'd say it's more complex than that because rappers used to get roasted all the time for even uttering the word.
Rap musician Eric Wright, better known as Eazy-E, doesn't understand all the fuss about the 6-letter word.
It's a part of every...
So, rappers used to get roasted. They basically had to explain themselves 50,000 times. And for white America, it was just easier seeing a black person say it because they're like, oh, okay, obviously they don't hate themselves. And then black people were like, all right, I kind of get the point he's making. And it was like, whatever. But then Kramer, the Lord, well, not really the Lord, more like the demigod demon of racism, this dude, lost his mind and literally just, shut it down for white people. White people's N-word pass was permanently revoked. I know this because a year later, Nas tried to give all white people N-word passes.
Niggas today, it's also me and you.
As you can see, Nas was not successful in granting the United States an N-word. Yo, listen, you don't know how crazy 2007 to 2010 was. You don't know how, the media in general, white people didn't know how to react to the N-word because they're like, okay, Kramer say bad. And then Nas came out and was like, no. Dude, by the way, I don't know if you know this, Nas is literally standing there with a shirt that reads the N-word in full letters. And it's not blurred on TV. That's how crazy this time period was where he's just like, yeah. And what I love is the white lady goes up to him like, Nas, as a black political scientist, can you give us your thoughts on this? Well, I think, you and me, everyone, we all niggas, you know what I mean? Here's a pass. Everyone gets a pass. Here, everyone gets a pass. But that did not work for white people. As you can see, Joe Rogan got flip-flop fried. And one thing to take into consideration when you remember this is that when you look at the media in general, they think about it in terms of just the N-word. The reason why I say they only think about it in terms of the N-word is they don't really care about black political thought. I mean, let's think about it like this. Would you even be talking about this if it wasn't for Joe Rogan saying the N-word? Does anyone really care? I mean, advertisers just care about their money. That's why Joe Rogan's not fired. They just want the money, right? But furthermore, from the media's perspective, is that they don't care about the idea. They care about the word. What does that mean? There's people that go on certain TV stations. There's people that say certain things. They say everything but the word, but they say things like, dude, there's some dude who said, I remember it was on a Catch a Cop, he's like, I think rap...
This is why I say that hip-hop has done more damage to young African Americans than racism in recent years.
What? Dude, that's insane. And the thing is, these discussions about race that pop up every once in a while focus solely on the N-word, right? So with Joe Rogan, he's saying any of the context, it doesn't matter, it's terrible. But I think that because people say any of the context, it doesn't matter, I think people are so simplistic, they don't understand that if the N-word in itself, which means to treat, the N-word originally started off as being a term for ignorance, then white people co-opted it like, yo, I like this. This is a good word to use in a derogatory fashion. And then it eventually became a term of hate, right? And you don't want that, right? You don't want anything that's derogatory towards a group of people, specifically the N-word has been associated with black people, right? But what's crazy is that even in this Kramer video that he got canceled for, the main component and the main focus was him saying the N-word. In this same rant, he went on to say that 50 years ago, you would have been hung up, lynched, and killed. No one talks about that. No one mentions that. That's more detrimental, that's more offensive, that's more disgusting than him saying the N-word over and over again. And the reason why it was really disgusting is because he said the N-word plus that combination. And, there are some comedians who have said the N-word in stand-up. Sometimes it works, sometimes they're black, sometimes they're not. And, for me, I think there's one guy, what's his name? Joe Rogan. Joe, listen, I'm not trying to expose you, but I remember this joke. I remember this joke from his first Netflix special because I was like, oh, shit. The point of this joke is that there's 3 words you can never say. The F word, the C word, and then the N word, right? And then I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching this shit, this is before I knew edgy white people existed. I'm like, this guy. But hopefully the Black Caucus does not find out about this video, because this video was basically Joe Rogan dropping M-bombs and basically making a joke out of it. And I remember watching, I was like, damn, that's the point of the joke is that word. If that word doesn't exist, the joke is meaningless. It's not funny. No one cares. It's you could say cunt a million times, no one cares. You can say fuck a million times. The moment you drop that M-bomb, people are like, uh-oh. Yo, and this was before Kramer. After Kramer, fuck that. You're getting bodied, right? One thing that was interesting that I found out about this is that basically because of the COVID misinformation, a lot of people like Neil Young, who, if you don't know who Neil Young is, the only way I can explain it, because Neil Young is a rabbit hole, the only reason I know he exists is because one time on the Opie and Anthony show, Patrice O'Neal explained that Neil Young is white people's messiah, they love Neil Young. I never listened to him, but he's part of Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I don't know what that is, but anyone who's 40 or older and white, that I just want clout with them, right? I appreciate that. I'm with you, right? And this individual, India Arie, she basically was talking about Joe Rogan saying the N-word a million zillion times, and she kind of gives her 2 cents and thoughts on this, and she's been kind of like the face of black opinion because the media loves to, it's Black History Month, you know, I mean, it's February, and they like to focus on things like this, and it's just interesting for them. And she actually says something that is a little bit interesting further on after this.
I empathize with the people who are leaving for the COVID disinformation reasons, and I think that they should. I also think that Joe Rogan has the right to say what he wants to say. I also think that I have the right to say what I want to say. Spotify is built on the back of the music streaming. So they take this money that's built from streaming and they pay this guy $100 million, but they pay us 0.003% of a penny. Just take me off. I don't want to generate money that pays this. Just take me off.
I respect that. Honestly, if she's being genuine, that's her right, and that's something that she can be a part of. I don't know, in terms of the business logistics, Joe Rogan probably brings more to their platform than other artists, because other artists are like on Apple Music, you know what I mean? Like, you know how when Drake was exclusive to Apple, that was like a big deal. Things of that nature. The thing is, like, for me, for this whole, like, corporate, like, this whole, like, larger media corporate shit, it's like the fakest fraud shit ever. Like, I don't trust them at all whatsoever. I think that, you know, people that are having discussions about this and are trying to express themselves is perfectly fine. But, like, if people are really thinking that Spotify cares, like, Spotify will do a risk assessment and say which side has more money. If they wanted to just have a Joe Rogan episode where all he said was the N-word and they beat earnings, they'd be like, all right, listen, we're going to put that episode out and then we're going to shut off our emails, because all it cares about is the dollar. That's literally all that matters. So I don't know. I wouldn't put too much depth into this in terms of thinking that there any type of political sanity associated with it.
So we know how social media can be. Things can be doctored. People are taken out of context. It's happened to me many times. However, I want to be clear, in no uncertain terms, where I stand on this is that he shouldn't even be uttering the word. Don't even say it under any context. Don't say it. That's where I stand. It's my right to stand there. I have always stood there. I have other feelings about it, but those are nuances that are not meant for this moment. He shouldn't even...
So I think that's the biggest thing that people disagree with, is basically her saying that there exists no context where that can ever exist. I think, like she said, it's her opinion, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that opinion. I think what's going to be the issue is that white people, and when I say white people, I'm talking about white media, they're going to see this, see the color of her skin, and be like, she must be right, because obviously that's how she feels, and obviously you have to listen because she's black, and not really listen to her thought, listen to her opinion, or even look at what she had to say in the past, because she even said, she's like, I'm used to being ignored. You know what I mean? Like, these are people who don't care. Like, these are people who, like, there are people out there, like, there's been videos online of people saying, following black people through stores, following black people through elevators, following black people saying, do you live here? Is this your address? Like, treating them like pieces of garbage. And then when they're confronted for this, they're like, I don't have a racist bone in my body. I've never said the N-word. I've never said the N-word. And I think that putting so much emphasis on that word has literally brainwashed middle America into thinking, like, I could treat black people like garbage, but if I never say the N-word, like, I'm Gucci, like, I'm I, like, there's no problems that come with me, right? And I think the thing is that when, to be honest, like, I feel like there's something wrong when it comes to any type of political discussion, whether it be language or not, when you're doing it through Instagram videos. I mean, it's fine to express yourself, but, like, like, these are, like, at most 5-minute videos. Like, how are you going to contain all of your opinions and, like, different elements of political thought and put it in a video? Because she even says some points of this is more nuanced, and maybe if she explained it, it would have more people, understand where she's coming from. Because from my perspective, let's just say if Joe Rogan was in a classroom reading Huckleberry Finn, and he gets to a fucking page talking about Mr. Jim, he's like, yo, should I, like, say the N-word, Jim? Should we not even say Jim? When you say the N-word, what is that? It's a variable that points to the actual N-word, nigga with a hard R. So if you don't say nigga with a hard R, you say the N-word, like, obviously that's like the F word. It's like, child appropriate. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want kids to hear it. I I don't understand how that does anyone a favor. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it comes to the perspective of like people who say it. Because some people, they'll get wrapped up in this whole identity politics thing and be like, oh, you know, if black people are black, then yeah, you could say the N-word with a hard R, whatever. I completely disagree with that. There's, when someone is black, the only thing I would say is that I would assume that it's not coming from a malicious intention. Like that is more fair, or not really more fair as much as a perspective. But it doesn't mean that because you're black, you can't be racist. I mean, there's black people who say things that are completely racist to other black people. I think the most common thing I've seen is when you go on Twitter and they talk about coon shit. Anytime black people are talking about, oh, like, this dude's a coon, this guy just supports Republicans, this guy's a fucking bootlicker, soft shoe. These are all racist terms. These are all terms that are created in a racist lane to put down people, specifically black people, black on black derogatory terms. And now here's the thing, when you talk about political speech and you think about the hierarchy of a hegemonic structure, a lot of times people say, well, black people can't be racist to black people because black people, quote unquote, have no political power, and it's only white people that have this power, therefore they cannot be racist. If that's the case, then this video of Nas saying that, white people can say the N-word, everyone's an N-word, my new album's going to be titled N-word, it's like, yeah, I'm going to listen to Nas because Nas is black. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're really going to be like, yeah, because the color of his skin, I'm going to listen to him. And it has really less to do with the color of your skin and more to do with your culture and your upbringing. Because, like, someone can have dark skin and then be from a completely different fucking culture. Could be from a different continent. It could be from a complete different ideology. And then you're like, yeah, he's black, so I'm going to listen to him. Like, it makes no sense. But the thing is with this, what I've seen that, I see the point that people are making, and that is that, they're seeing videos of Joe Rogan say the N-word a million times, right? And people are expressing, yo, why is he saying the N-word a million times? You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people are put off by people saying, like, why are you even apologizing for this? Like, why are you even addressing this? And I think that it's something that is good for discussion. I mean, let's be completely honest. I don't think Joe Rogan's getting fired. I don't think anyone cares to the degree of trying to, like, he's not another Kramer is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't see him as someone who, like, was saying the N-word and was like, oh, you know what, I really miss racism. Like, I miss Jim Crow. I wish that would come back. Because that's basically what Kramer was saying. Kramer literally said 50 years ago we would have lynched you. Get out of here. Why are you in the audience? Like, that's a crazy nutso statement, right? Somehow, some way that evolved into just the N-word. Again, I'm not gonna go into the specifics. If you want to know, go watch that 45-minute video. Lord knows I ain't gonna watch that shit. Whoever made it's a dickhead. But I think that this discussion is interesting. I think this discussion also has a lot of disingenuous parties. What I mean by disingenuous parties is that, Fox News had to come in here, drop some knowledge. I think Jon Stewart, he made a good point. Jon Stewart was basically saying that for certain people that are pulling their music from Spotify, like, it doesn't really make sense because Rogan gives more money, they make more money, and that pulling your music may not be the right thing, it might be a mistake, and that instead of censoring someone or asking for censoring, maybe express yourself, have the ideas. He was just making a comment. Dude, honestly, like, anytime you get featured on Fox News, that's when people look at that and go, uh-oh, Fox got him. Fox got his opinion. So anytime Fox sees an opinion they agree with, they're like, all right, yo, let me go get this opinion real quick and let me publish it for the world, right? Saying people should just have a discussion, they could talk, and basically have a meeting of the minds. I think all in all, like, this is going to end up being, some bullshit. I mean, to be completely honest with you, it still blows my mind that we're having a discussion about the old fucking Fear Factor host. Like, this is who I remember Joe Rogan being. I remember him being the dude on Fear Factor that would watch people eat tongue mouths and then fight, and then fight people in front of an open creek. Like, it's crazy. What the Ludacris fucking is the new host of Fear? All right, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't see that. So it's crazy to me that the dude that used to host Fear Factor, do some UFC commentary on the side, is now creating radical racial bombs that are dropping and people are taking issue with it. I think that, the discussion piece is good. I think that the discussion piece is necessary. But I think that the simplified white people bad, don't say it. Black people good, can say it. It oversimplifies it because then it makes it sound like, you know, like you condone black people just saying the N-word, which most black people don't do that. Like they, in general, you would not want to say that. In general, it's something that's frowned upon, and in general, it's not something that people co-sign like that. Like, dude. Like, even back in 2008 when Nas tried to drop this album, like, he got enough backlash where he just dropped the album as untitled. Because this was after Kramer. This was, because he was trying to do it as, like, a gimmick to get more album sales, which is crazy. He's Nas. Like, why do you need a gimmick, right? And it's basically people saying, like, yo, Nas, like, chill the fuck out. But the only reason I mention this is to say that white people, I gotta stop saying white, the media, the white media, they don't know how to basically identify what is racist unless they see who's saying it. So if Joe Rogan is saying it, they're like, yo, that's some racist shit. But if you have someone like Uncle Ruckus in real life, they would be confused. They'd be like, yo, black skin, black face, opinion coming out of their mouth. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm just going to look at who they are. And then they just form different opinions and they form different pieces based off who they are. Which is fucking corny. It's stupid as fuck. I don't know how Rogan justifies, like, saying that context doesn't matter, because like I can understand a lot of black people do say online. When I say a lot of black people, I mean people in this thread on Joe Budden's podcast. They basically said people look for context excuses to just drop the N-bomb, which may or may not be true. I don't know. I'm not the dude out here taking time out to make collections of this shit and compilations. May or may not be true, but at the same time, like, I think it's so corny that people say the statement, like, one group of people can say this and one group of people cannot. I mean, granted, white people, there's a small little detail called slavery and Jim Crow that basically balloons up and makes it so that you have a prejudice, can be a prejudice, thinking that some white people say it in a derogatory term as opposed to a term of endearment. But I think over time, people have had different opinions on this. Oh yeah, but I forgot to mention Anthony Fantano canceled his Spotify. Nah, that's how you know it's over. This dude waited until February 2nd. He's like, yo, it's Black History Month. I gotta get rid of this bullshit. I'm canceling. By the way, let me just say, I'm a proud owner of YouTube Music. Just putting that out there. Reason being that I never supported Spotify, so keep that in mind, right? So I can't be racist because I never supported Spotify. And I'll tell you one thing, the funniest fucking video, like the piece of this video that I laughed at, is that Joe Rogan said,
in that manner. I never use it to be racist because I'm not racist. But whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you fucked up. And I clearly...
Dude, that's a fucking fact. Every time I've heard the term, I'm not racist, it's coming out of some racist devil's mouth. Like, fucking, like, they will just be doing the crazy shit, like that devil who was fucking harassing some black kid for selling water. And then she went on the news, she's like, I'm not racist, dude. How am I racist? One of my best friends is black. Like, that's their fucking go-to tagline. That was funny. Everything else was just, like, him backpedaling, him being like, yo, dude, I swear, I'm so sorry. Which is nuts, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, for me, Joe Rogan is a comedian, right? I don't really watch his specials. He's had some good specials in the past, but I don't know. I don't sweat him that much. Like, Joe Rogan, he's like the fucking beyond Howard Stern in terms of popularity now. Like, people look at him like the fucking messiah. A lot of people support him. A lot of people watch him. A lot of people like him. And I guess it's just because he's so popular. He has so much shit that they trying to get at him. They're trying to dig in his asshole. And they're trying to be like, yo, look at all this shit that we brought out your fucking closet that has been in plain view. But now we're focusing on it now that it's Black History Month. I don't know. This shit seems a little bit sus. It seems to me like, yo, this might all just be a big plan by Joe Biden to roll this out, get rid of Joe Rogan, and then put in that 12th booster shot, which I would have to get because I need my paycheck. So that might be it. This might just be a ploy by the Democrats. I don't know. I'm going to try to look into seeing how to watch Alex Jones on the deep web and see what the answer is.
At the end of every single video, make sure you ask people to rate and subscribe to your content. It makes them feel like they're involved even though they're really not. And most importantly, make sure they comment on every single video. If you have to, disguise it. Call it something like the question of the day. And really make them think you're going to really read it when you really don't have to. Ha ha ha!